So let me then very quickly jump into the topic. Agriculture ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ କହୁଛି, you can consider agriculture and NTAP together. For easy communication, I'll do that. Indian farming system जो देखिए 86% small farmers, 61 labor force in agriculture are women, 43% farmers are lease land holders. If you look at COVID, जो हमारा 27% non-farm economy आस्तुला, that has also been almost got into trouble. And we also have a lot of migrant workforces coming back to the villages. It's a Bartaman reality. And if we look at we did some studies during the COVID period. So we interacted with 200 farmers. What we found, couple of interesting things that will set tone for the discussion. The farmers who have been part of any institutional structure like Sagar represented, I think they found this risk a little less, or they were lesser vulnerable. Those farmers who were into multi-cropping or integrated cropping, they were less vulnerable. And for farmers, the biggest challenge was around post-harvest management because of the collapse of infrastructure, collapse of logistics and transportation. And we found finance, which used to come from two major sources in rural areas, one from the government systems or the formal system, it collapsed in that sense. And also the local trading partners or channel partners, they couldn't give any support at this point of time, who are informally operating, but they definitely put up, they have informal system to work on. And government's work declined to a large extent during the COVID, and all put together, market also couldn't cater to the requirements of the farmers. Having said that, we also found while they are now moving towards Kharif, or they have already started doing plantation and other things, but people don't have cash on hand. So the situation would be still grim and would be difficult for them. Having said this, I would say, if you look at all the sectors in Indian economy today, everybody would vouch for agriculture and food sector. This has been a major sector which everybody considering would offer a lot of opportunity, be it hardcore agriculture or forest produce or livestock. That would be definitely bringing in a series of opportunities. I think during the course, Nirmala is also touching upon that. More than this, I think this sector would also offer, looking at the conditions in the local areas, opportunity for local entrepreneurs to become more vibrant, be it food sector, be it mechanization sector, be it food, agri services sector, import selling and kind of. So there would be a number of opportunity that likely to come up or should be leveraged during this COVID because of two major reasons. One, we look at from the opportunity point of view, consumers in general have seen this COVID in a way, experienced the COVID in a way that now they are moving towards safer and healthy food. That's a very good sign, and that would open up channels for us to look at things in a very different way, because the demand pattern would move towards natural products, agroecology friendly products or sustainable products. That's a critical domain. Second, if you look at a larger, from opportunity point of view, couple of good schemes have come up out of compulsion or whatever. Government has brought three major reforms: APMC modernization or repeal of that act. Then you have Essential Commodity Act and the local infrastructure support of 1 lakh crore. These we need to see from opportunity point of view in terms of leveraging all these schemes for the benefit of the small farmers. Having said that, I think while these are good, private sector has started sensing this as a big opportunity. At this juncture, I think our major focus should be how we redefine a vision for the farmers so that they take the advantage, not just the private sector, because of all the major reforms happening in the country. So I would request people like Amarji and Jagdanji to see this as a time in the Indian scenario in terms of agriculture to redefine in favor of small and marginal farmers. And I would say, while we are doing that, we must look at how we develop an ecosystem for the small farmers or NTAP collectors so that we push the agenda for benefiting them for the BOP segment. What we need to do is a couple of things. 6 elements, in my opinion, are going to be critical. We have done enough. First one is local production system to be strengthened. We have done enough from the Green Revolution time in terms of promoting monoculture and doing a lot of things. It has its own benefits in terms of food security and other things. But we now need to see that our water, seed and soil get preserved, and we need to see that our agriculture becomes more sustainable and of course remunerative, but more sustainable, because we are in troubled time. If we look at agribusiness right in deeper way, you will find sustainable sourcing becoming a big phenomenon, which means lot of big buyers now asking for produces happening on ground in a responsible manner, where the supply chains are done in a structured way. So sustainable sourcing linking to those kind of buyers who are demanding produce sustainability to link to the consumers are opening up. We need to look at that. Having said that, again, as CIS, UISD or any CSO, I think there's very interesting scope coming in for introducing a large chunk of safety measures across value chain, so that we ensure the safety standards of the produce on behalf of the farmers and link them to the markets. So one is production system. Second is the institutional structure. FPO, as I said, farmers who are part of FPOs have become more secured at this juncture. So promoting FPOs, building their capacity and making them slightly bigger entity in terms of an umbrella organization for the members, not just for income enhancement or doing business, but for their social requirement or security requirements. We need to also bring those FPOs to scale. Of course, government has 10,000 FPO as a scheme coming up. Already 5,000 FPOs are there. But handholding, giving these FPOs enough strength in terms of doing business in a more structured way would be a critical requirement at this point. I will not go detail. We know that. We'll have a topic on that. Third area is agri-entrepreneurship. What I mean is, if we want to create local economy stronger, we need to work with agri-entrepreneurs in terms of input suppliers and service providers at the last mile. Food entrepreneurs. Nutrition is a big issue. We have to make stronger food system in the area, and that would eventually open up a lot of opportunity for local entrepreneurs to come. Our self-help group members or local entrepreneurs, even FPOs, need to be capacitated to become entrepreneurs to substitute large players and make things happen at the local level in a better way. Fourth area is how we really leverage this local infrastructure fund in favor of our FPOs or local entrepreneurs, even SHGs, because the COVID has exposed the last mile supply chain completely. So we need to do that. And for doing that, a lot of negotiation. This scheme is not about giving grants. This scheme is about giving a channel through bank to leverage the fund and create infrastructure, which means organizations like CYSD and similar setups which are on the ground level need to facilitate this in tandem with bankers to leverage this. Fifth area is market. What we found, while market is critical, we need to make the local market stronger. All of us in this forum know we have weekly markets, hard bazaar systems. Can we see that government's 22,000 modernization program around IT and other things around this 22,000 hearts? We need to bring those hearts to become more robust, become a point of wholesaling and linking to bigger markets. Can we do that? Second is to look at the e-commerce route. I think somebody in the chat put a question, can we work out a new model in the COVID era, keeping social distance? E-commerce becoming important. FPOs with scale at a cluster level with some size can start leveraging the capacity we are developing, or the e-market capacity getting developed. There is a huge scope. And of course, the direct marketing with modernization, I think the direct market scope is there. Third, or the sixth element is cross-cutting. We need to have a better finance system. I'm not an expert on finance, but I know FPOs or self-help groups or farmer organization need different kind of financial modules to come to their doorstep, and we need to work on that. In today's era, we cannot have a model without IT support. So all these production systems, marketing system need IT solutions, even the training. Post-COVID, the distance becoming an issue. We cannot go to the field as we want earlier doing. So we need to use IT in a bigger way to see that our delivery system become important. And within this cross-cutting, I think one of the most important elements in today's context is skilling not just the farmers, but the migrants to really take the advantage of the scenario here in terms of agri opportunity, livestock opportunities. essentially the food opportunity. So all these 6 elements put together can be a roadmap for building an ecosystem for small farmer, marginal farmers or NTAP collectors to grow from here, not get vulnerable further, and of course take the journey in a better way from here. I would urge the group to see that here is a historic moment to redefine or bring a vision to the sector and do it more meaningfully. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity.